Lilliana Blackstar. They're a terrific astrologer. They've been on their circuit. You start to see them out in the world. And today we have the good fortune of having them here.
Hi, happy to be here. Thank you.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Lilliana Blackstar. I am an astrologer. I'm a member of the Seattle Psychics Association. I'm a certified reader with Seattle Psychics Association. I am a first degree priestess of the Wise tradition with the Aquarian Tabernacle Church. In Centralia, Washington, we have the Evergreen Hearth, and that's who I practice with. And yeah, I've been practicing astrology for a few years, and I just love to bring astrology to people and help them understand it a little better.
And so look, right away, like we've been doing with all these, where can they find you?
So my website is hestiasmuse.net. And they can also find me if they search for Hestia's Muse on Facebook or hestiasmuse.astrology on Instagram. And you can also find me on Seattle Psychics Association website, which is seattlepsychicsassociation.com.
Terrific. Well, boy, you're findable. So there you go.
Yeah.
And so astrology, one of the things I think astrology has always had a strange relationship with the American audience. You have everything from the daily newspaper pieces and then famous astrologers with that to, influencing government to complete repudiation. Like that's just nonsense groups, right?
Right.
So where
Right.
do
It
you fall
is.
in
It
these
is one of
spectrums?
those things that people either love it or hate it. They either believe in it or they don't believe in it. And somehow it has persisted as a part of our collective consciousness for a long time. And right now, I feel like it's becoming more popular. Like the number of astrologers out there, the number of websites about astrology is just
Mhm.
booming.
Well, I also think it is about the memes, which are constantly talking about astrological events. I've never seen so many memes about the full moon, or I get them and I pass them on. I must tell you,
Yeah.
Aquarius is this, Aquarius is that. This. I've never
Yeah.
seen so much traffic in the public market of astrology.
I totally agree with you. It's like I said, it's booming right now. It's
Mhm.
something that has caught the public attention through social media.
Mhm.
And astrology's always been part of our culture in a lot of ways, but right now it's right there. You can't go browse Facebook or Instagram without hardly at all without seeing something about astrology. It's about what phase the moon is in, or Mercury retrograde, or something.
So you come into this marketplace. What is your unique talent for people?
Well, I first of all like astrology as a tool for self-discovery. So
Hmm.
I think of an astrology session with me kind of like a session with a life coach or a spiritual counselor, where we're going to sit down and through your chart, um, hopefully help you understand yourself a little better, and then even use your chart to help you determine what your goals are, determine what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then learn how to use astrology in a way that can benefit you. I'm not the type of astrologer who's going to tell you that this is going to happen to you and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm more of like, what's going on in your life energetically? Let's take a look and see how you can use that energy of the cosmos to boost your life, to improve your life circumstances, to make yourself more confident or more prosperous, or whatever it is that you're needing at this time. I can help you find a solution through astrology. I also really specialize in moon magic and using the cycles of the moon on a
Hmm.
regular basis, not just the new moon and the full moon, but the quarter moons in between, and understanding the whole phase of the moon from new to full to dark moon, and being able to live in alignment with that lunar cycle.
So that's a pretty wide spectrum. So I'm thinking my friend's really into astrology. Maybe I'm not so much. They come to you. What would you offer them to give as a gift this Yule to a friend who wants astrology?
Well, you can get them a gift certificate from my website. Is basically you would pay for a reading in advance,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would be able to schedule a session with me to come and sit down and have a live one-on-one video session. So we would do just like this, kind of in a Zoom call,
Mm-hmm.
and be face to face, and I would look at their chart and tell them, whatever they're curious to know, or we can look at analyzing their birth chart, or
Mm-hmm.
we can look at a transit reading, which is going to focus more on what's going on right now or for the upcoming month or the upcoming year.
So yeah, I
Um,
think that analyzing birth charts is something a lot of people talk about having, but don't know how to get to that experience. I
mhm.
think that's a really like, how do you get them off the newspapers and these sort of books and little, the sort of it to the more individualized? And that's a birth chart analysis, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can go to websites and you can look up your birth chart, and then on those websites they'll have information about what it all means and how to kind of interpret it. Um, but for someone who is not super familiar with astrology, that can be a lot of information that is hard to synthesize. And you're like reading it from a website and you might not quite fully get it,
She's
or you're just
being
overwhelmed.
very gentle. She's being
So,
very
yeah,
gentle
I
with you.
like to be able to sit down and talk to people one on one,
Mhm,
because I'm told I have a real talent for explaining things in a way that people understand and it finally clicks for them.
mhm.
And I also offer some astrology classes for people who are wanting to learn how to interpret charts on their own.
And let's be honest, it's a bit of a language. I know it. I've watched it. It is. It's you've
It
got
is. It's like learning a new language. There's so many words that we don't really use anywhere else except for in astrology.
mhm,
And if I start talking to someone and just go into what I would call astro babble, they would
mhm.
not know what I was talking about.
So if you have a friend that's kind of interested in astrology, and they said, "Oh, I should get my birth chart read and get an analysis," that's a great first step here. And you can go
Yeah.
to your website, which is what?
HastiasMuse.net.
And
And
you can
there's
get that you
information on there on different types of readings. And then there's my email address, and you just email me and say, this is what I'm interested in. And I'll email you back and we'll figure it out and get it set up.
you have that astrology girl, that astrology boy in your office that this would be a perfect gift, wouldn't it? All right.
Yes. Or
So we're
for
gonna talk a little.
yourself for New Year's. People like to make New Year's resolutions,
Mhm,
and astrology can help you focus on what you should like focus on for the next year ahead for your New Year's
sure.
resolutions.
That'd be interesting because I just came out of my solar return, my second one in my life. Just happened to coincide with COVID. That was like really challenging. And a lot of people talk about 2023 being like a really going to be these strong years. What is it that's happening now? Like Yule, can you explain a little bit astrologically for us what's happening now for this? Because we're heading into Yule.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in Sagittarius season. The sun is in the sign of Sagittarius. And that's a time of kind of looking at the big picture. We have just been through this whole year. You get to where winter's setting in, and you want to look at the big picture of what your goals are. Sagittarius is the sign of the philosopher and higher education, as well as long distance travel. So there's like these urges to philosophize about what we've
Mhm.
learned over the past year. And then we have a full moon coming up in Gemini on the night of December 7th. And that's going to be a pretty powerful full moon for just really like activating a lot of intellectual stimulation, because it's a Gemini full moon. Plus, it's going to have Mars. Mars is going to be right next to the full moon. The moon will
Mhm.
actually pass directly in front of Mars, so it's almost like an eclipse. It's called an occultation.
Mhm. One of those
because
words you
occult
learn in
means
astrology.
hidden, and so the moon is going to hide Mars from us, so it's like
Mhm.
passing directly in front of Mars. If you don't have clouds, it could be cool to go out and try to see as the moon moves and like Mars comes out.
Mhm.
We do have Mars retrograde right now, and by the end of December, Mercury retrograde is beginning. And so I do talk about a lot of this stuff regularly on my social media.
Mhm.
So on Facebook, Hestia's Muse, and on Instagram, hestiasmuse.astrology. I regularly post daily astrology updates, so you can see what sign the moon is in, what's going on astrologically, and just kind of keep up to date with what's happening.
I think that's great. I think that's a great space. This is our showcase. We're getting started there. Go to the website. I think they're going to do a fabulous job, and I'm making projections. We're going to see a lot more of them in 2023. So blessed be, folks, and happy Yule.
Happy Yule!